Thank you for joining the Collaboration Culture podcast. We'll be with you in about 2 minutes. Go ahead and grab your cup of coffee or your favorite drink and get comfortable and cozy, ready for tonight's show with these dynamic winning women in our Winning Women series for Women's History Month. All right, we'll be right with you in just a minute.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Coffee. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Coffee. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Coffee. Can someone turn down your volume? Thank you so much. We are all excited to be here for another episode of Coffee and Collaborations, the Collaboration Culture podcast. My name is Kimberly Winborne. I am the host. I want you to go ahead and love, not like, love, tag, and share this with someone. Tag another winning woman who we could potentially highlight on the podcast, another winning gentleman, because your month is coming up as well. Anyone in financial literacy, go ahead and tag someone and invite them to this evening. Again, I am Kimberly Winborne. I am your host. This is our 5th season of Coffee and Collaborations, and I'm so excited to have this relaunch with these 4 weeks of dynamic women. I am going to go ahead and introduce them and let them share a little bit about themselves. I'm going to start with Liz Rasilli, who I met about 3 or 4 years ago. She is a sales expert with 28 plus years of experience, the president of Sales Savvy, a sales consulting practice based in Cary. Through this business, she helps business-to-business professionals nationwide bring in consistent clients without compromising sanity or integrity. And that is so important. She, from the early days of her family's business to working for startups, corporations, Avon, and her own enterprises, Liz has successfully sold everything from $1 million of pens to $40 in jewelry out of the trunk of her car. Liz believes in celebrating your wins. You know, we're all about that. Over the past 3 decades, she's discovered how to sell from every angle, and more importantly, how to build the lasting, authentic relationships that bring in regular, reliable sales and create lifelong connections, which you know we love. And so, Liz, if you could just tell us a little bit more about you, anything that you're excited about for this year, 2022.
I'm just excited to continue to help business owners and business to really increase their sales and set up a sales process that works for them. So yeah, I have some new programs coming up, and just really enjoying just working and helping other businesses who don't think sales are, they're so scared or they're afraid to really launch into their own sales, but it's so important, and I try to make it a little less scary for them.
Absolutely. It can be a little daunting and scary, the sales process. I think people run away from sales because of that. You hear so many people saying that they're not going to do a specific thing because they have to sell. And so I hope to debunk some myths tonight around sales with having you as an expert on here. I really do, so that those who are ready to launch out won't let something like that hold them back, to launch out their business in a new way. I want to welcome those of you who are joining us. Good evening, Carrie Lynn. That's my sister, y'all. Good evening. And to anyone else who joins us, please tell us where you are watching from, and we're excited to have you. And once again, go ahead and tag someone or share this broadcast out, because we're going to be talking about sales this evening. We're going to be talking about marketing this evening and a little bit of PR. So this is the place where if you know of someone who is a business owner, especially a woman in business, because we want to shout them out and love on them anyway, then please invite them to the broadcast. Okay? Sales, marketing, PR. If you're here, be excited to be here. All right. So next up, I am going to welcome Rada Burt Mills. I want to share with you really quickly congratulations, or ask you to share with me a congratulations, because she just did her grand opening for her business 1865 & Co. I was able to attend, and it is such a beautiful place here in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. So congratulations to Rada Burt Mills. All right. So Rada is often referred to as a Swiss Army knife because of her sharp and versatile skill sets. She spent her professional career using them to help others to succeed. And as a serial entrepreneur, founding multiple companies, she's partnered with several organizations which have required common principle: community. You guys know I love that. Creating and building a connected community aligns with why she felt a calling to entrepreneurship. Her superpower is helping people to find and use their gifts and talents. Now, she's right here from Raleigh, North Carolina, which is very few and far between. I'm from Raleigh, but when you're in a room, you don't find that many people who are actually from here. There's a lot of transplants. And she has over 20 years of experience as an entrepreneur, coining the term accidental superhero. It's been her mission to ensure that the path to entrepreneurship is accessible for all. You guys have to make sure to put into your database 1865 & Co. Make sure, especially if you're a creative, you get down there. But even if you just need a good, feel good day, if you need a jolt in your day, if you're in a funk and you need to be in an ambiance and in a space that will bring you light, that is the perfect place to go. But don't bring your funk now. Don't bring your funk. Don't bring your funk. She can help you with some great energy, but don't come up in there bringing her down. I'm joking. But she's honored to provide advocacy by serving on the boards of several nonprofit organizations and as a mentor at several entrepreneurship incubators and hubs. She's the owner of a PR, marketing, and event planning company, a commercial photography company, and an influencer and brand marketing agency, a candle and skincare line, and an online consignment shop. Editor-in-chief of 1865 magazine, which is a multicultural curated lifestyle publication that's going to be set to launch in June of this year. And as I mentioned, we're so excited to congratulate her on 1865 & Co. So oh yeah, Carrie said it's incredible. Rada, you want to tell us just a little bit about what you're excited about for 2022? Anything else you want to add?
First of all, thank you for that introduction. That was awesome. I would like to just, when I say what I'm excited about most, is probably really truly getting to use 1865 & Co., the space, as a hub for connecting with people. I want it to be like you and I, when we sat, we were talking about community, collaboration, working together to build a better. So we have to come together. And that's what I'm excited about. It's kind of like to see what will come out of that, what will come out of that space. How will we be able to build a better community? How can we help get businesses up off the ground and running? How do we support other business owners and entrepreneurs? So yeah, I'm excited just about kind of the possibilities of what can come out of that space.
I love it. Yeah. And I think a lot can come out of that space. I love the concept that you shared with me when I went, and I want others, because I don't want to give it all away. I want others to go and be able to experience it for themselves. And when you go, and this is one thing that I tell people about networking, go with the intention to receive as well as give, because when you go with that intention, you never know what will show up for you. Right? You never know what will show up for you. So many times with networking, we're very inward focused. What do I need? But what if you show up in a room with what you can give, and as a result, you receive way more than what you need? That's what's happening in my life. People ask me all the time, how, why, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sincere. I don't go anywhere with a idea to receive. When I went there, I was like, I'm not even in the right mindset to even look at this place. I just want to have tea with you, girl, and get to know what you're all about, how I can support you. And I'm in it. So that's a great networking tip and tool to take away from this time together. And then lastly, I've known her the longest of everybody. We go way back, actually, and I'm so proud of her, Tiffany Bargeman, who is the new owner. So new business owner alert. I need the sound machine. New owner of Grand Concierge LLC. Now, Tiffany has been in corporate space for quite some time. She's very technical. She and I have a lot in common around English, grammar, and she's kind of a melancholy, so she likes details. That's a personality plus sort of thing. I love personality profiling. And so it's really perfect, the business that she chose and why she chose it. When I asked her why, she gave such a detailed, specific, strategic answer, which is essential to what she does, why she does it, and how she's going to be able to help anybody that comes in her path. And so I'm excited for her. Let's congratulate this new business owner, Tiffany Bargeman. And come on, tell us a little bit about your business, and then also what you're excited about for 2022. Make sure you unmute. There we go. We can't hear you. Okay, try again. Something happened with the sound there. It says you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Oh, let's try to work that out. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll come back to Tiffany. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully we can work that out, and then we can hear a little bit about her. So my sister says, Tiffany. So you got somebody who's excited to have you here. Hey, Cordell. So good to see you out there in YouTube land. So we're going to go ahead, and this is the last of the Winning Women series, the last week. I have enjoyed it so much. Are you back? Is your sound back? Nope, not yet. You may have to leave and come back. We'll be here if you do. I'm not sure what happened, because we did sound check. That's so crazy. But Tiffany will be back with us in just a moment. So she's our commercial break. So I'm really excited. I've been having such great conversations with these ladies, and I don't think tonight will be any different. I want to go ahead and get started, and then when Tiffany comes back, we'll give her opportunity to introduce herself, because tonight is a powerhouse: sales, marketing, and PR. So in the comments, do you guys know the difference between marketing and PR? Raise your hand, say me, whatever. If you do, you know the difference between marketing and PR. Those who are in the audience, share with somebody who you know does not know the difference between marketing and PR? Do you know the difference between sales and marketing? Do they go together? Are they two separate entities? Should you have a sales team and a marketing team, or is it all in one? Do you know the difference? Are you going to be able to truly build your business successfully if you don't? What do you think? What do you think? So I'm going to give you a little bit of information as a statistic, and then we're going to move on. When I ask people, entrepreneurs, what it is that they need in their business, what it is they think they need most, they always say marketing. They always say marketing. But in fact, marketing is actually not the number one thing that most businesses need, but it's the number one thing that we think we see happening and think that we are missing the boat on. Right? We think we're missing the boat on. We forget how important it is to relate to people, how important it is to actually make money and sell, how important so many other things are. Marketing absolutely is essential, but sometimes we jump the gun and go to marketing and haven't done the other steps that need to happen. And so I'm excited to have these ladies on. So ladies, what have you heard when you're in a room and you hear entrepreneurs talk about what it is they need most? Is that true? Do you hear mostly people say out of those three, marketing? Right. Rita,
Yeah.
a quick question before we dive into the other ones. Do you think most people know what public relations is? What have you learned in your experience?
Absolutely not. They have
No.
Most people have no earthly idea of what PR or public relations really is. And I would imagine most people on the surface think that it's just someone that gets you in front of the media or gets you to the media. And that's the gist of it. And so everybody wants a publicist, but they're not, oftentimes, kind of like we talk about with sales and marketing, not quite ready for PR. And that's not a bad thing. And it's kind of what you just said, piggybacking off of, there are other things and other systems that sometimes need to be in place before you get to the PR. So people oftentimes will want PR before they're ready. And so, but they typically don't have any idea what PR is, the timelines, what it takes. I have no idea.
Okay, great answer. And I think that was a great question. And so in the audience, someone says, my sister says, marketing, the face of business, the representation of the business. Would you all agree or disagree for marketing?
I mean, I think that it is the face. Like, I think of it like, if you want to say, I want to be known as, when you think of sales, I want you to think of me. That's what marketing is for, is so that when they say, oh, I need someone who does sales, or I need someone who does PR, that you're the one that comes top of mind. That's what marketing is for. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say, Rita?
Repeat the question. My thing buffered, so I missed the question.
Do you think marketing is the face of business or the representation of business?
I do. I think a lot of people, but I think most people kind of put a lot of the emphasis on just the marketing. And when it comes to a business, and we say there's front facing, so kind of like what the consumer sees. So most people always just think marketing, that's all you have to do. But it goes back to what we're here for, collaborations and relationships. It's about storytelling. It's about the brand identity. What do you want your brand to be known for? So all of that falls under marketing, but it's I think oftentimes people lump too much in marketing and not always in customer service or sales or operations. I mean, there's all these other things that should have just as much time or percentage, as opposed to just thinking you just get on social media, put a post, and then that counts as marketing.
Yeah, that's good. Tiffany, let's see if we can hear you. No. Well, I wonder what happened. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll be here. I can read lips. we'll be here. So she's going to try to join us from her phone. So sorry. It happens. Technical difficulties. We did sound check. Everybody's a witness. Everything was great. So I have no idea what is happening now with her sound, but she'll be right back. All right. And so I want to go ahead to our first question, and thank you, ladies, for answering that. Things pop up, and I thank you for working with me, because my brain goes a mile a minute. So I always have something that comes to mind from the from the audience conversation. So let's talk about target client. Target client, because that's one of the things that I think is sort of the first step. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but who is your target client and what is your unique value proposition to them? And so I want to ask each of you that, and then also how you share with your clients as to how to come up with that, especially you, Rada.
Ooh, so I'm in that boat of my knowing who your target market audience is kind of like business 101, kind of, when people are doing business, you always have to know who your TMA is, right? Yeah. And so some places will have you create an avatar where you kind of create this person and what this person represents as it relates to your business. But then there's more than, so most people just do the target market audience, but there's also knowing how to talk to your people. So you can know your people all day, and you can identify who your people are. Like, you can point them out and see them. But if you don't know how to talk to them, which also goes back into marketing, it's language, the brand identity, then you're going to be at a loss. You're going to have an audience that you can't relate to. You're going to have an audience for a product that you can't move because you don't know how to talk to your people. So it's one and the same. So oftentimes in identifying the audience, for me, boils down to, what do I want them to get? Like, what is the end receiver? Not so much the product that I'm giving. How do I want them to feel after they get my product or service? How do I want them to use my product or service? And so when we put ourselves in the mind of the consumer or the client, and then come back based on how we are servicing them, we actually can service them much better. It's kind of like when I say customer service, which really should be the forefront, even before your audiences. How are you going to talk to, take care of, address your person? And so for me, it went customer service first, which is when you walked into my space, how did I want you to feel? And you said it earlier when you were talking. You want it to be a place where you feel creative, and you want it to be a space where you feel like you can come in and build and just relax, or even just to come in and just kind of like change the humdrum of your everyday. So knowing that means I have to make sure when I am figuring out who my audience is, that I'm addressing that need in my audience.
Absolutely. Such a great answer. Welcome back, Tiffany.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yay!
What did I miss? Because I wanted to hear all of it.
Okay, so I was we talked about target market. What is your target market, and how do you explain to your clients about their target market? So what is your target market, your unique value proposition? But you got to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do first.
Okay. So Grand Concierge is brand spanking new. So let's see, November of 2021. I was just doing some thinking, and recently my parents passed, and they left us a legacy. I wanted to start with what they left and build something from that. So I decided to open this business because I'll tell anybody about a good thing. That's just my premise. I love to tell people about good experiences that I've had, whether it was something I ate, something I bought, a place I went. It doesn't matter. If it was good, I want somebody else to experience that same joy. So I will tell anybody about a good thing. And I believe that when people have the information that they need, they can make the best decisions for themselves. And when they don't have it, there's waste. You make bad choices, you waste time, you waste money, you waste effort, you waste steps, you waste love. Everything is just wasted if you don't have the information. So I am an information hog, if I can say that. I want to make sure that I have the information I need, and everyone around me has that, because I care about information. So when it comes to social media marketing, I want to make sure that I provide an outlet or a space where people can get noticed. The slogan we go by is they'll know you when we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that.
Oh no, we don't know what happened. So we'll wait for her to come back. Okay, we ready for this slogan. The slogan was the slogan.
They'll know you when we're done. Is there a delay? Because I don't want y'all to miss anything. Influencers, business owners, I want to make sure that we provide a service that allows them to go and be themselves with their clients. Go and have your meetings, go and build your products, go and provide your services, and let us handle what's on the back end. We'll take care of your social media sites, making sure that the engagement is there, making sure that you are being put out there so people know what you're doing. You
Right.
go and do what you do. So we want to free people up, and we want to do it in a way that's affordable. So when I'm thinking about the target audience, I'm thinking solopreneur, people who are just starting out, who don't have the time to do everything. When you're an entrepreneur, you're just starting out. A lot of times you're by yourself for a while you're building what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to do all of it, but you do. In 24 hours, you make time until you're able to offload some of that. So offload to us and we can help. You can get some sleep sometime, which is important too when you're building. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
I love it.
Other clients are welcome as well, but that's our focus.
Yeah. And I'm so excited for you. And so with all of the various platforms for social media, for email marketing, more platforms evolving every day, ladies, how can we connect to audiences consistently, but without oversaturating? So our pages, our personal pages versus our business pages, how are you all doing that without people saying like, why are you posting all the time or what have you? Or is it even possible? Let's start with you, Liz.
I just try to time block where I think it's important to also to respond to other people too. So other posts and not just be throwing all your stuff out there, but interacting with what other people are saying too. So I think it's important to find time. So you don't need a lot. Like if I block 30 minutes a week to just comment on other people's posts, I think that keeps me relevant and keeps me in front of people. And then I've tried content calendars, and honestly, for me, because I know that my sales are more important than my marketing, that I just post when I have something to say, and that way it's authentic and genuine and passionate. So when I have something that I want to share, it might be 2 in one day, and I might not post for 4 days, but you'll only hear from me when I truly have something to say, rather than this has all been planned out 6 months ago. I like to just keep it authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think so, it's so interesting for you to say that on the sales side. And I would love to hear the PR and the social media side to that same question. Let's go to you, Rada.
So, excuse me, guys. I'm a little under the weather. So if it sounds like I ate a frog, it's because I'm not 100% here. But so it's for me, it's twofold. Personally, I am very much in line with what Liz says. I post when I have something to say, something that I feel is relevant or something that will help my audience to identify with me. But I actually spend more time commenting on other people's posts, liking or sharing other content, engaging with people, building the relationship. So it's less about, it coming from my platform. Literally, my platform probably needs to be talking for the concierge service because we are
we can talk.
There's the part of, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. So personally, like I could take it or leave it. It's done beautiful things, but this whole like schedule and having to go in and put out content that doesn't always feel authentic because you're scheduling it. So that part. But on the other side, from the PR side of things, you definitely want to continue to engage with people, and you want to make sure that you are putting out quality content, something that matters to you and your brand, and that is consistent. Now, consistent doesn't necessarily mean every single day. consistency for me means consistent in your messaging.
Mhm.
So the consistency comes in making sure that if you say you are community oriented, we need to see you in the community. If you say that you are doing give back, then we need to see where's the money going and how do you support, you know, the give back aspect of your business. If you,
Yeah.
whatever it is, make sure that's consistent. And so that's a PR part. Mostly it's kind of like a freebie, I'll say, that helps you to craft your story. So when you are reaching out or when it is time for press or media to come on board, they can see the consistency in your messaging. And so it makes it easier to be able to craft or draft up a story based on that part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. Okay, Tiffany, you got to answer that one.
About social media. Why social
Yeah.
media? Where are we right now? Look, the party is always on social media, right?
Yeah.
The people are at the party on social media. So think of it like this. The party's always going on and people stop, they go away, they come back. They go to work, they come back. They go to sleep, they come back. They run the kids to the soccer park. They may still be on while they watch the soccer game or whatever, but the party's always going on and people are just coming in and out. It's all about that consistency and making sure the messaging and the branding is recognizable and people know that, oh, when I see this, this is what it means. They may not know right away that they need what you're trying to sell or to market, but you're getting in their mind. So you'll be top of mind when you know, when they know that they need you. So, for example, everybody's on their own journey. You know, if people are my clientele, for example, if they're starting a business, they may be in various stages of that business and, you know, they're thinking about all the different things that they have to do. They may see something that is advertised and think, oh, you know, one day I'll do that. I'll get around to it. I need it, but not right now. And then another time they may see it and think, oh, perfect timing because I'm at this stage. And if I do this now, then I'll elevate. And that's what we're marketing to. That moment, that perfect storm when you can get a message out and the person that needs it grabs it at the right time. So the consistency to
Absolutely.
make sure that people know you're there and they need the service that you offer. And when they're ready, they'll come.
I
Absolutely.
wanted to add that I just heard a new statistic that it used to be like 7 touches for, you know, to get people to take action. I heard now it's up to 20 touches because there's so much information coming in. So if that's 20 touches, that's social media, that's email, that's phone calls, that's any way to get you out there, but it's up to 20 now. So you really
Mm-hmm.
do one thing and be like, okay, now I'm going to wait. It's all going to come into me, right? You have to keep going at it, and it's just consistency, and it's just going to take time.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
strategy. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, Liz. You know, we are competing, especially because so many people went online more because of COVID. And so many people who weren't really necessarily running their businesses as much online realized that they needed to get online a little bit more and really
Mm-hmm.
reached out to people like Tiffany and her company and other social media experts and even PR and marketing and all of that in order to help to bridge those gaps that they hadn't been focusing on because they were out actually physically networking. So that
Mm-hmm.
old school sort of model was working more, and then COVID came in and it was like, oh, okay, I got to do something different. And so now, and then TikTok came out of nowhere and it was like, okay, so people are using TikTok to sell things in their businesses, and now we
Mm-hmm.
got the reels, and the numbers are going up on their sales because of these models. And so it's like, well, what in the world is a TikTok? So now you got these experts because it had just come out, right? The ones who jumped on it 2 weeks earlier are now experts, are are sharing with people on how to do all these different platforms successfully. So two places that I think everybody should be. Personally, you can tell me if you agree or disagree, ladies. I think everybody should have a Facebook page, and I think everybody should be on LinkedIn. Do you agree or disagree?
Mm-hmm. I agree. Definitely agree. LinkedIn is that clean, classy business professional place to be, right? And you reach a different type of audience there than you do Facebook. Now, there is overlap, of course, because we've got Facebook mostly for our social interactions, and we've got LinkedIn for our business interactions. The same people use these platforms, but from a different perspective when they're online. So it's important to be in those places. Kind of like audiobooks. We were talking about that offline. Audiobooks, I try to make a point to read a lot, and I read for professional development and for leisure. So, we have two sides. We have lots of sides, especially as women, but those two sides for entrepreneurs usually are what we have in common. So it's important that we are in those spaces, knowing that our clients will also be in those spaces. And we tailor messages to those audiences based on where we're talking. So it is important, those platforms.
Good stuff. Any other comments to that?
I think that it also depends on knowing your audience and who your audience is. Like if your audience is consumers and you're, an interior designer, you need to be on Instagram and you need to be
photos.
I'm business to business. So my main focus, I'm on Facebook, but my main focus is LinkedIn because, and so I think knowing your market and, there's people who aren't hardly on LinkedIn at all and they're very intimidated by it, but their business, but their customers are not looking on LinkedIn for them. So it's okay. So I think you need to know who your audience is and where they are scrolling for what it is that you do.
Absolutely. And the thing for me with I think that you be on those two and then expand out. That's my opinion, because I know that a lot of people are not on LinkedIn because they, like you said, they are afraid. But just like we know with anything in life, if there's an audience to have, then there is an audience to grab potentially. But if you never go and check out and see what's happening and what's going on, you limit yourself. So I think that because it's such a professional setting, even if you're not selling there, you could be giving. That could be a space where you're networking. That could be a space where you get a speaking engagement. That, there's so many aspects to business that we leave on the table when we say, hey, I'm not gonna go over there, because you may not be selling over there, but you may get other opportunities over there. I have gotten the most speaking and stranger, don't know people opportunities from LinkedIn than any other site, but I do a lot more selling on Instagram and Facebook. So that's why I say that. But I love what you said, because people do have to realize, where is your target market? Back to our first question, and where are they hanging out? And so you need to be over there. So yeah, that's so crucial and essential. And so the thing I want to ask about, now this could be controversial, so we'll ask the audience, which is more important, sales or marketing? So we're going to ask the audience, those who are watching, which is more important, sales or marketing? Those who catch the replay, what do you think is more important, sales or marketing? And then if we could talk a little bit about how the two partner well together. So for those who are struggling, and we kind of talked about this in the beginning, how do those two partner together well, Rada or Tiffany or Liz?
I'm gonna say that they go hand in hand. I call them the sandwich. So you decide which one is the bread and then which one's the meat inside. But if you just have the bread, it's not really a sandwich, right? And if you just have the meat, it's not a sandwich. So marketing can be the bread and sales can be what you're putting in the middle. So you have this nice little sandwich that you need both in order to make a business work. If you focus too much on sales, you have a tendency to come across as being cheesy, or like people always say, that's all you're thinking about is the sale. But if the marketing aspect of it, the whole point is to have the sales come in, because you want to make the money and run a business. So they go hand in hand, and you absolutely need to devote a time and attention to both of them. But if you don't have the sales piece put together so that it matches the brand of the marketing, you're going to again find yourself in a space and place where people will love the product, but they'll never buy it. And so that's why sales and building that out is really, really important, because you want it to be streamlined and you want it to flow seamlessly into and be a part of the marketing. Because again, you don't want it to be a hard sale. It's kind of like I always tell people, it can be intimidating. Sales can be very intimidating for people. And so I have an approach of telling a story, and telling the story, excuse me, guys, telling the story is more about how does this product work in your life, but you have to have that conversation. So sales is having a conversation to make sure that what I'm offering or giving you is going to match what your needs are. And the marketing is for you to be able to take it in, hence the sandwich. But that's again mine. You need them both. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, that perfect
I
sandwich.
agree.
Tiffany?
Yeah, I love analogies too. I was going to use one myself. So I'm thinking stability and consistency are sisters in my mind, right? I really value those two things, and they coexist. You really can't have one without the other. They complete each other. So when you think about sales, you want to make sure that people know what you're offering them, yes, and that they need it, yes, but they need to be able to trust you, right? So if you are presenting yourself as that service provider, you're putting yourself out with a certain brand and a certain behavior. And they know that when they see you, when they see your name or your company's name or your pictures, your advertising, whatever they do see consistently, it's trustworthy, because they know, oh, when I see that, it's going to be the same every time. I know that this is from that company. I know that this reputation that they're establishing is one that I can trust. So when they do need the service that you are selling, they'll know they can trust you. So I think when you're thinking about sales and marketing together, yes, maybe one may be more important at a certain time than the other, but they work hand in hand. And over time, with your strategy and your planning, they both have to be factored in.
Yeah. Good answer. And Rita, it's funny because the PR, the public relations folks always are sort of like pushed to the back, because it's sort of like everybody's focused on sales and marketing, that they forget that there is a backstory to be able to create that marketing to achieve those sales, right? And so nobody talks about it. But when they are missing it is when they realize something is missing that I need. So Liz, maybe you can add the importance of public relations from a sales perspective to the story.
Well, this is like my favorite topic, talking about sales and marketing, because I feel like we said before that marketing, everyone is so worried about their marketing, but I feel like marketing is kind of the general, you're reaching the broad audience, right? The broad strokes. And then sales, you have control over who, if you're prospecting and you're actually making sales calls or sending emails or actually creating your own sales and have a list of who your targets are, then that you can reach out to each one specifically and know that you're reaching the right person. And so I look at networking and marketing or social media as being like, you're hoping that the right person is in the room and that you're going to meet them and that you're going to have a great conversation, and you're hoping that they're going to see your post. But if you just call them, you're reaching the right person. So I think it's so important to have a sales process and a sales plan, so that you know that the people that need to hear what you do and how you do it are going to get your message. And then if you're reaching the right people, that's your target, your avatar, you don't have to sell them, because they know what you have. And so then it just turns into, that's how your marketing is going to get established, by talking about what you can offer the right people.
Absolutely. All great answers. I love this conversation. One of the things that you said is your favorite thing to talk about is sales and marketing. So Liz, what is one of your favorite things about what you do, and why? So how do you think it impacts lives, especially since we're talking about winning women, especially other women, but we could just focus on the total picture. So what's your favorite thing about what you do and why?
So I just started my company about a little about a year ago and did it. I was running 2 companies at the same time and then went full time in the fall. And some of the clients I've worked with that had never, my whole thing is pick up the phone. Like, if you pick up the phone, if you send an email, they get a million emails every day, right? And if you pick up the phone, they're going to hear your passion over the phone. They're going to hear, even if you have to leave a voicemail, they're going to hear it. If you talk to them, they're going to get to ask you questions and you can answer them right away. So to have people that, or especially women who don't have the confidence, that are actually picking up the phone now and making sales calls and growing their business. And I just had a call from a client the other day who said she's 1/3 of the way to her goal for July because we recently talked about closing, and she had been making calls, but she wasn't actually closing. And so that, like, getting those calls and hearing the success that other people are having is why I do what I do.
That's so crucial. It's so important too, because that their celebration is also your celebration, and it's sort of like a acclamation, like a reward that you can give yourself, knowing that you've helped somebody else. I love that. What about you, Tiffany? What is the reason? What is something that you like about what you do, or the main reason you love it, and why?
Well, like you were saying, I think that reward that you get in the end, knowing that something I did helped somebody achieve what they were trying to, that feels so good, and a lot of times we need that from other people. So this whole collaboration culture thing you've got going on is special because I'm sitting here learning, some things that I didn't know. I'm learning from you all. And in the beginning of the conversation, you were talking about coming to interactions ready to receive something. You're going to give, but receiving is important as well. So when I'm listening to what you all are saying, this collaboration just means so much. Knowing that the information I'm receiving, I can even pass on to someone else and help them at some point whenever they are at the point that they need it. That means a lot, Sharing that information is key. So knowing that when someone comes to you and they know that you offer something that they need, they trust you. Again, like I said, the trust is key. Knowing that you actually followed through for them and they got what they came for. Nobody's time was wasted. They go away in a better place than they were when they came.
Yeah.
That's what makes it special. I really enjoy being a part of that process.
Awesome. Yeah. What about you, Rita?
For me, very much what Tiffany and Liz have been saying. It's more so when I say community. When we work together, we build better together, and so it's more, for me, I would say, legacy building, kind of setting the tone for those that come after us. More for girls that are stepping into spaces and places where they're told no, they're told they have to show up a certain kind of way, dress a certain way, look a certain way, talk a certain way. And so when I show up in my authentic self, that's the best service that I can give to anybody, because in that moment, I'm not placating any kind of pretend. It's less of this imposter syndrome that seems to impact and affect so many of us.
Yeah.
So for me, it's sitting in a space and place where what Tiffany just said, which is where we learn off of each other, but then we put it into action. And so when I see other people winning, when I see other people, overcoming obstacles, but most importantly, when I see a lot of us get together and then we get to build together and then we get to, again, create something that wasn't there, and we do it on our own terms. That to me is like the most satisfying thing about what I'm doing. It's not about me. It's not even really about, when I say my family, it's as a whole, that if I hear Liz is doing something and Liz is out there and I know I sat with her and I talked with her, I'm feeling that win too. And that's what this should be, celebrating each other's wins. And that's for me kind of what, and I know it sounds sometimes very cliche, almost like a Hallmark movie. That thing where I love seeing other people win. Because that does trickle down. It's like a trickle down effect for us when we build together. So
yeah, I mean, I think we need more Hallmark movies, though. I mean, to be honest, because there's to the metaphor for what you said. It sounded like, I mean, because so many people can be very cutthroat and self-serving in business, and it's hurtful. And so we do need more people that are sort of, I'm going to use another cliche term, lead with love. Like, why not? There's nothing wrong with being able to be kind in business and to be giving and serving in business and still be successful. There's no, it's possible. And so and so, yeah, I want to know, reflecting on you all on your career, what's something you would go back and advise your younger self to do, both personally, professionally, and financially? Let's start with Tiffany.
Okay. I can apply one answer across the board, and that is wait, listen, stop, don't. That small voice, that still small voice that you hear when you're about to make a decision. You have a split second to listen to it or not. And it's a good idea to listen to it, because in hindsight, you think, I heard that tiny little voice and I didn't listen, and I wish I had. And there's the waste again. So if I could go back and talk to my teenage self, my young adult self, that's enough. If I could go back and talk to I would say that, to the career girl, to the high school student, the college student, I would say the same thing. Just listen to that voice. And if it says no, it's okay. If it says wait, it's okay sometimes to just be still and wait, because you don't have to make a decision right now. You don't have to make a move right now. And usually when you do wait, you see how things come together in a better way. I'm learning that, as I get more experience in these different areas, that it's okay to wait.
Absolutely. I love that answer too. I think I would tell my younger self that too sometimes. All right.
Nope.
Facts. What about you, Liz?
I think one thing that I learned about 10 years ago that I would have told my younger self was about the definition of what success is, and just saying that success doesn't just mean like the size of your business and how much money you're bringing in, but it is about that balance, and are you happiness, and what makes you happy might be different than someone else. And it's okay that my business is this big and not this big, because I have all these other things that I'm responsible for as a wife and a mother, and that's important too. So as long as that's success to me, is that I have looking at it as a whole. So telling the younger self that would be probably the best advice that I could give. Don't be stressing over like, oh, it's not, I'm not getting to where I wanted to be, but stopping and, smelling the flowers and appreciating what you have and where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what about you, Rada?
I would say for me, it would be a lot of times people are going to tell you rules, the red tape, the things that you can and can't do. And I would tell my younger self, none of that really applies, in the sense that if you are operating in your gift and they say the gift, the room is made for your gift, when you're operating in that space, there are going to be a lot of rules, red tapes, or even doors that will open that no one will understand how those doors got open. So I would just tell my younger self, don't let the red tape or what society tells you a business is supposed to look like, or you are supposed to look like as an entrepreneur or a woman. Don't let that define you. Kind of like the ability to show up and let your light shine bright. And I would definitely say, as a woman, do not allow the world to make you small. Don't make yourself small to fit on a shelf to be convenient for others. Stay full, stay big, stay bright, whatever it is. Don't allow other people to dictate what you look like and how you show up in this world.
So good. Oh, so good.
I'll take that now.
I know. I know.
I want to go hang out with Rada and just create our own roadmap, right? Go in the uncharted territory. I love it.
Yeah, but all of you, everything that you all said, I put into quotes in the comments because I think all of them were valuable. And Miss Sheila said, operating in your gift. I like that. And so I'm going to share what you all shared. And so Liz says, success doesn't just mean the size of your business, but what makes you feel balanced and happy. So that's my my summary.
I like it.
My summary of what you said, but it's in quotes because you said it. And then Tiffany said, wait and listen to that tiny voice, right? Wait and listen to that tiny voice. And then the last was Rada. Don't let the red tape or society tell you what you look like or who you are as a woman. Well, I said women, but it should be woman, typo, to define you. Do not allow the world to allow you to play small. I love it all. And so we were talking about balance in the beginning before we even started. And I believe that's come up a couple times in this last question. So when it comes to balance, you hear the term work-life balance. You hear that being like a big topic of conversation when people are talking about self-care. It's work-life balance, right? And so is that achievable? So the thing that was one of the questions that we talked about, I heard you all talking about before the show. Is that achievable? So how do you try to balance work, goals, and family? We'll start with you, Liz.
I would say that one important lesson I've learned too is that I don't know if you all know Marcy Rader, but she's a productivity coach, and she always says, "Don't should all over yourself." You know, like, I should do this and I should do this, and I always think of her when I'm like, oh, I really should be doing this, and I'm like, oh, stop, you know, and a lot of the times we're the ones setting those high expectations for ourselves, and so I try to keep that in check and just say, you know what, like, it's fine. I'm going to go to the grocery store now. Or I'm going to go make dinner, or I'm going to like take the break. Like, that's why I own my own business. That's why I'm in charge. So you're your toughest. I think you're your toughest critic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Tiffany?
Well, I haven't gotten it mastered just yet because I'm new at this, but my kids are older and more independent. So I don't have to worry about getting them to and fro. They come to me when they need me. So I'm free in a way with my time, and I appreciate that. I make sure I factor in me time. You know, I go to the spa. I have my massage on a regular basis, and I make sure, you know, the books that I love, they're in my ear. If I'm, I don't know, cooking or cleaning out my closet or taking a walk, I've got good stuff going into my ear. So I really, really enjoy that because there are times when things that I've read come up in conversation, and those moments are precious. I love that I can contribute to conversations and share things that people can use just like I have. But I think it's really important at the end of my day from my day job, I make sure I have a good cutoff time and I get off of the computer. Sometimes it runs over, but I try really hard to keep separation there, to delineate so that when it's time for me to log on to my second job, I have had a break, and I try not to stay up too late. The startup time is when you are burning that midnight oil, but you know, as you get further into what you're doing, you learn how to balance that time better. So I'm coming down to a place now where I'm doing better about that. It's very important to balance.
Yeah, that's good. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have the idea of got to burn the candle at both ends. And then we realize that we burn the candle out by like June, if even that long. And so I think we're getting a little bit smarter. And I think not just entrepreneurs, but just the everyday career driven woman, man, we realize that we got to take some breathing time, and we can't try to take every single moment of every day to be doing something. We have to take meditation time, prayer time, whatever, time with the children who aren't going to always be home, just all of those things. And so good stuff. And you know what, this is a kind of a plug to all of the ladies, like, and having someone else to do certain things for you, such as a social media manager, such as a sales coach and or a sales manager, can help you to achieve some of that, such as somebody who could do your press releases or PR, or even a space to go and create and not have to, and a place to have events. All of these different things are accessible, but do we take advantage of them when we try to do everything ourselves, right? And so this is a plug for all of you all for people to tap into the resource of
Absolutely.
reaching out a hand to ask somebody, hey, how can you help me? And not be afraid of an investment, because you can tell people exactly what your budget is. That's the thing. Have a budget, though, because it is difficult to say whether you can or cannot do something, because if you don't have an allotment amount for it, it does seem out of your reach. So now I'm gonna wear my finance hat. Have a budget for the things that you need. Marketing, which is social media, okay, as well as other forms of marketing, email marketing, all of those different things. PR, do you have events and different things coming up that you need press releases, that you do need media potentially, but then also just your everyday, right? And then sales, or do you have a product? You may not be the best yourself at sales, but you can have somebody come in and help you with that strategy. So have a budget for those things. So then it helps you to say, okay, well, this person is outside of my budget. However, this person over here may be able to work. Or I could tell that you can call Liz, for instance. You can call Tiffany, Rada, and say, hey, my budget is $200 a month or whatever it is. And so what can we do within that? I really want to work with you. And I'm sure I will work it out for people. So I'm sure that in most situations, in most cases, they can work it out for you. So that's one thing to do. Sit down and write out a budget for all of these things for your business. Miss Sheila said, ouch. I don't know if you said ouch about me talking about having a budget or what, but if so, you know what to do next. All right. And so I want to thank these ladies. Rada, did I get to you?
No,
On
about the
balancing work and life?
it
Yeah.
probably was a good idea that you didn't, because I'm a hot fire when it comes my work-life balance, because of so I will say this: when you're building out a business, most of the time they'll tell you to have a business plan. But I've always told my clients, I've taught students, I always say, have a life plan for your
Have it.
business.
Yes.
And a life plan for your business allows you to put these things in. What are the hours that you're going to work? Not when your business is open, but when you're going to work. What happens when you get sick? What happens when a loved one gets sick and you have to devote time to caring for that person? I am, along with my brother, my mom's caregiver. And so there's a window in there sometimes where she has to be taken care of. Vacations, and just sometimes just overall rest. So I'm a day by day. I'm literally one day at a time. I am in that space of my plan is for the next day. I'm in today, but if you ask me what my work-life balance looks like for Friday, it looks beautiful right now because I haven't planned it. But most of the time for us in the middle of it, and each person is different, and each of us has our thing. So I always tell people, have that life plan, because if something does happen to your business grows faster than you can bring employees in. You need to be able to figure out how is this going to work until you can get back to whatever that balance looks like. So yeah, I'm a hot mess over here with that.
You're doing your thing. And it's so funny. You say you're a hot mess and everybody's like, Rada, and go over to Rada. She's amazing. Rada. So you're not that, your mess ain't that hot. It was hot in a good way.
Yeah, right. Like I like that. Like it's a good hot, because
it's a fire.
That's authenticity, right? That's me not pretending, because that's what imposter syndrome would have us do. Would have me to sit here and even say, yes, I do this. I do get massages regularly. Now that I don't miss, but other than that, each day is different, and each day has different demands and commands. And so what I try to do is figure out, what does that look like today? Some days it's naps. Some days work-life balance is I'm doing laundry while on a phone call. So every day is a little different. And I always tell people, don't think that you have to do what society, again, tells you what that looks like. It may take a minute to figure out that balance. It takes a little bit of a time for it to become a routine. So don't think that it's going to happen overnight. And even the best entrepreneurs, those out there that are really out there doing, if they've got a staff of people, then yes, they can absolutely do they can sit and sip tea on Wednesday at 12 noon and not worry about what dinner looks like because they have a chef coming in.
Yeah.
So oftentimes what we see on social media and what we see people present to the world is not what they're really living. And so that's why I say work-life balance. You've got to figure out what works for you. And don't worry about what it looks like to the world, right?
Absolutely.
So my hot mess works for me, but it may not work for anybody else. So.
Yeah. Dot said your message covers your mess. She said, thanks for being transparent. But, it's so true, Rita. Many people are showing on social media and in other spaces what we want you to. We can all share the one story that we want people to see, but the authenticity, is so dear to people. And that's what I love about folks who are in PR personally, which is my background. I'm sorry about the sales and marketing folks. I do the marketing under PR, but it's just so important to just be you, just be you. And I know that whenever I try to show up in spaces where I'm just not being myself, after a while, not only can I tell it, so can you, so can other people. And so it's sort of like, well, why? Just be you. And if you need to work on some stuff, get you some coaching. Go get some personal development. Pray. I pray for you. But Dot made a good point about professionals struggling. You have a budget, you're trying to stretch your budget and all of those things, and then you're just hitting the head, basically, from what I understand from what she's saying. And people telling you that you need, but there's no options for like payment plans and different things like that. And that's one of the things that I want to close out and ask you all. Are there those sort of options when people reach out to you, such as like a payment plan, or is everything just like one lump sum payment? Are you working with people in their budgets?
Absolutely. Yeah. The tools that we use these days allow such, and I'm glad, because everybody's at a different place in their journey. We talked about that. So when I submit invoices, they are so flexible. If it's up to that person, they can decide if they can pay all up front, but then I offer upfront a payment plan option. It's up to them if they want to say, oh, I'll just give it to you all up front. I think it's important to have the options available so people don't feel uncomfortable. Again, it's about that trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Liz?
I call it like a sliding scale. So I have my program prices, but then I really don't want to say, not that I don't want to say no to anybody, but I want to help people. So I will find a way, whether it's let's just talk for an hour, or let's just get this done and let me help you with this one thing, or I've even created new like packages based on what the need is of my client. Just because I'm passionate about them. I want to help them. So let's figure out what works for both of us.
Yeah, that's so important. And then lastly, Rita.
I absolutely will work for cupcakes. So I can get paid in cupcakes. For me, it's probably easier. I always tell people, because to piggyback off what you said, Kim, tell me what your budget is, and then I'll tell you what I can do for that budget.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier, because then there is none of this in between. You can decide at that point, do you need to come up with more money, or, is this going to work for now? Because oftentimes people, their needs and what they think they need, if you're with a professional and someone who's ethical, is to say, if you come to me and you say what you think you need, I'll be able to say, you really don't need all of that. And let's save your money for when you need that. But for now, this is what you need. This is what it will cost. But I do have payment plans. I do work with people based on their budget. Like I said, tell me what your budget is, and I'll tell you what I can do for that. But I also have bartered with people, and I have actually mentored people, because some people needed their money to go somewhere else. And so it's a full circle. So each one is different, but that's where I operate in discernment. So discernment for me, kind of the quiet voice, discernment is yes, this is how you work with this person. But I think most entrepreneurs, honestly, those that are really about helping people, will absolutely work with you. You just have to ask.
Yeah.
Because we don't know. If you don't say, again, that's the authenticity, that's the transparency of where you are in your journey. Say up front, look, I really want to work with you, Liz or Tiffany. I've heard about you. I think your services are something that my business needs, but I don't have a lot of money, or I just started. And so a lot of my money is going here or it's there.
Yeah.
How can you help me? Then it allows
Mm-hmm.
us as entrepreneurs to decide how we get to sit in that space with you. So don't make the
Yep.
decision for us. Ask and then allow us to respond. But ask anybody. You'd be surprised at the number of people who literally have said, the reason why I didn't offer is because no one asked.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. And I want to take this time to go ahead and thank you, ladies, for joining me for the final night of the Winning Women series. This has been so good. I have enjoyed every single woman who has come on over these past 4 weeks, and you all have been no different. So shout out to all of the winning women, but specifically tonight, Tiffany Bargeman, Rada Mills, and Liz Rasilli. I really appreciate each of you for your expertise and your wisdom. And so we are going to go ahead and close out. We went a little over because we had a few technical difficulties. And so I didn't call anybody out. Wanted to give it a little bit more time in order to be able to have the conversation. I want to thank everyone for your patience tonight, as well as not just the ones watching, but also those of you who are here with me in the virtual studio audience. But it's been amazing. And so for those of you who have never heard of Coffee and Collaborations before, or the Collaboration Culture podcast, please continue to follow us, share all about coffee and collaborations with your network. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for a platform in order to get your name out there, get more of an audience to see who you are, we have low prices when it comes to, you get quality, right? You get quality, but it's not going to hit you in the pocket. And so we could talk about what your budget is for partnering with us in order to get advertising and marketing. And
Uh-oh.
She's frozen.
okay, I went out a second. So, and or to be a guest. So we would love to reach out to us at info@coffeeandcollaborations.com. Follow us. If those of you who have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go to Coffee and Collaborations Media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There you can also catch up on some of the other shows. We've been going at this for almost 5 years now, so you can catch a whole bunch of shows as well as the TV show Love and Flow TV. So thank you all again for joining us this evening. You all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. We'll see you back here next week on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another episode of the Collaboration Culture podcast. We're going to be going into Financial Literacy Month, so I am really excited. I'm also launching my new cohort of the Debt Detox program. So for anybody that needs to get your finances in order, you want to make sure to reach out to me and join that cohort, which comes with the Debt Detox book, as well as 30 days of accountability from me. So let's get our finances in order so you can budget these ladies in.
Right.
You all have a good night.
Thank you, Kim, so much.
Thank you.
You.